Hello, welcome to my intro to Roblox scripting series, and this series will try to get you into Roblox scripting. I will be teaching you as if you've never opened up a script or you've never coded in your life. Alright, first things first, I want to make sure you have the Explore and Properties tab open. This is what it looks like. The Explore tab allows you to open up all the stuff in the workspace, and the Properties tab gives you the properties of the objects that you select. With the Explorer, I want to show you that everything in Roblox Studio can be represented as an object or a pointer to an object. So this part is an object, base play is an object, the spawn location is an object, and properties are pointers. Size points to a Vector3 object. These three numbers, when you see a 3 number, things like that, that's a Vector3 object. Now make a script anywhere, and variables are also pointers to objects. So you can make a variable like just do anything and then equal to. You can also do local anything and then equal something. Local is like a organization thing. If you create something like this and it has like an end, then you must use local as a little notation thing. Anyways, if I make a variable called var a, I can make it literally anything. Now this part, I want to show you that variables can point to everything. It can point to a function, tables, a part, obviously. It can even do booleans. You can literally do this stuff that you usually put in if statements. It will give you true or false. It will auto calculate for you, and you can even make it point to properties, which point to a Vector3 since properties are pointers. Now you might be wondering, how do we access or change the object that the variable is pointing to? Because if we type in variable f and then put an equal sign and we want to change the part's position into something, say a new Vector3. This is how you make a Vector3. You type in Vector3.new and then you put in 3 new numbers like this. This won't change the position property. Instead, it will just change the variable, because as you can see, the syntax for declaring the variable and changing the variable is the exact same. So what we want to do is actually access the part and then access the position. Now, what the script thinks is we're trying to change what the position pointer is, and the position pointer points to the position of the part. Now we can put in our Vector3 and put in our new value. Objects are organized as a tree or hierarchy. Objects are put under other objects. These are called children. An object above another object is called a parent. Siblings are objects that are children under the same object. To go up and down the hierarchy, we use the period to access everything under our object. This includes objects and properties. To access children, simply type in the name of the child of the object. To access the parent, type .parent because parent is a property. Here's the little exercise to show if you understand how this hierarchy works. You can pause and count what parents and what child you have to navigate through to reach the part. If you want to verify your answer yourself, there's the print statement, which if you type in print and inside the parentheses, put in any object, any variable you want, and it will print it out. When you put in a variable here, it will print out whatever the variable is pointing towards. And in this case, it should print out model.part. And in order to see your output, you have to open up the output section, which is found in script, and you press output. And then for me, I just put it down here. Roblox Lua has 4 primitive types, which are the most simplest types. The number, which you just type any number. The string, which if you put 2 quotes, you can type anything inside the string. It could be anything. The script will consider it as a storage of information through letters. And then a boolean, which is true or false. And finally, nil. You don't need to make a variable for nil, since there's a keyword for it called nil. This will always access nil. Now let's start with the first major object, which is the Vector3 object. In short, it's just 3 numbers put together, and we can make one by using Vector3.new. So what is the Vector3 keyword? This is something I call a library. A library is an object that contains a bunch of useful functions, methods that we can use. And if we do Vector3.dot, we can see all of these extra stuff that it has. So the obvious one is .new, which creates a new Vector3, and you put in 3 numbers to store as your Vector3. However, there's other ones like Vector3.y-access. What this will do is return a Vector3 that's equal to Vector3 0 1 0. And the reason this is a thing is so you can quickly type this, which is a lot faster than typing in .new and how much y you want. So when I type in Vector3.y-axis times 100, I'll get a Vector3 that looks like this, because if we do the math, it'd be 0 1 0 times 100, because the y-axis returns this specific Vector3. And if you multiply 100, well, 100 times 0 is just 0, and 100 times 1 is 100, but so the middle number becomes 100. Alright, that will be it for this episode, which covers the basic overview of how things work in Studio and how script interacts with them. And in the next episode, I'll be covering 2 complex objects, which are booleans and tables, and everything that you can use with them.